today we drove to the heart of Isinya to meet a gentleman who is taking building project cars to the next level. This is a guy who has the character traits of hitting like a mule and biting like a crocodile, because the project he has been building is not for the faint-hearted. So that right there is a Land Cruiser HJ. It's an ancestor to the 79 series. So this is the 45. It's a pickup, but they came in several configurations. I believe there was a double cab and also the station wagon. But it's one of the most reliable vehicles in the Land Cruiser lineup. We know the Land Cruiser nameplate for being, you know, indestructible, for being bulletproof, and they are cars that would crawl the surface of the earth even when the apocalypse comes. And the funny story about this car, you know, we have been doing our trooper build, but this gentleman has just, you know, challenged us to go to a whole new level, because he was shopping for cement in a market huko Kitale and he found this stalled. So he bought it and then had it ferried to Nairobi, hapa Isinya, to the gentleman who has been building this particular car. Well, the owner is a good friend of mine and also one of the organizers of Jumbo Charge. The event is going to be taking place this October. There is more information about it in the description below. Angalia hapo, you can book a slot, uende tucheze na matope, as you see this vehicle in action. And now I'm going to introduce you to a guy who is so meticulous that I know you guys think that this is done. No. According to him, this is nowhere even near 80%. So the guy is, his name is PJ. PJ Mambo.
Yes, Mama.
So this is the guy who has done this project from scratch. Imagine somebody who is so talented that he does engines, he does paintwork, he does wiring. You know, we don't get somebody who is that meticulous. Ama mtu wako that talented in all those, you know, all those fronts. So maybe before we talk about tukaribia gari tuione, before we talk about it, how did you start? Because we all have this dream of once being settled, go out of town, building our own cars. How did you start? How did you get here?
We moved here 2012. Mm-hmm. This more or less was a family home.
Yes.
So then decided to develop it further and moved, made this my home as well.
Ah, nice. So what about the passion?
I've had the passion since I was a kid.
Nice.
All right, so just grown and developed on it over time. Then more or less cut a niche for myself.
Yes.
Because I knew modification was an issue for people. And I started modification in 94, 96. That's when I started my first modifications.
That's like 30 years into it.
Yes.
That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this car. By the way, PJ has done quite a lot when it comes to modifications. He has a Pajero V56 that is running on a 1UZ engine, right? V8.
Yeah.
And it is still running on its original Pajero transmission. He's going to tell us about that car way later. But first, let's talk about this 45 over here. PJ, when you got this car, I saw the photos. Maybe Andy will put them on the screen when it was coming from Kitale.
Yep.
What did you think when it landed here? What was your vision, or what was your initial feeling? Was it like, I'm excited to do this, ama ilikuwa ya ile ya we?
No, I was excited. And straight off started picturing a few things.
Yes.
Like the bed, that I already mentioned, has to be cut.
Okay.
Because it's disproportionate. The back is more or less longer than
the front,
the bed itself. So we decided, no, we're cutting it a foot.
Okay.
The owner then says, no. You know, he has to go, sleep, ponder on whatever he wants to do. PJ, do it. So we stripped the whole car, back to the bare metal, the chassis. Everything was all apart. It had tractor tires. Probably you'll see it in one of the clips or something.
Yes.
And we started designing it from there. So I started with the engine, stripped the engine down, looked at it. We needed a new crankshaft. Getting a cylinder head was hard, so we took the head for repair. Though it's still not very good, you can still see a bit of smoke while you're hunting for another. Started building up the body piece by piece. Did a few parts. We had a discrepancy on terms of color. I reached a point, the owner just said, no, you decide for me. But I want green, and I want that kind of green. So that's how we chose the color.
And one thing about the color is that this is a color that was widely used in FJs, HJs of that
it's
age.
slightly different.
Yeah.
This is metallic, and it's more or less in tune with the new vehicles now.
Oh, okay. So you try to modernize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being an engines person, maybe we can pop up the hood and talk about the engine, what we have. This should be very interesting. So F is for petrol, H is for diesel.
Diesel, yep.
So this is the 1H.
Yep.
How different is it from now the modern?
This one uses for pushing the rockers.
Yes.
This uses cam lifters, and the camshaft is right at the bottom.
Okay.
Now the newer version, for increase of efficiency and power,
Yes.
what they did, they put a camshaft at the top.
Oh, okay.
So it's belt driven and increased on the valves. So you get more horsepower out of it.
So PJ, if you look at most HJs and FJs in Kenya today, most of them are not original. In fact, original ones are countable. This has to be one of the very few. So you find that guys just take the body and mount it on a chassis, say from an 80 series or from a Prado 70. So why do you think, was it a challenge keeping it stock?
There are quite a number of things.
Yes.
One, the suspension, being that it's leaf spring. Stability is a bit compromised. If you're not keen on your shocks,
yes,
rolling the car is fairly easy. So that is one. Two, comfort. Newer cars use coil springs.
Yes.
So it's not as bouncy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we let's focus a little bit on the engine. We talked about. Do you think maybe getting an aluminium head over the cast iron is better? You know, most guys say we prefer cast iron head, cast iron block. What are the downsides of having this cast iron?
The cast iron has, okay, they say it's bulletproof.
Yes.
But you then have a problem of cracking.
Okay.
With any car, you've got to be keen with your coolant. Most often, you get that people run these cars without water, not realizing that there's no coolant in the vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of performance and cooling, you're better off with an aluminium head.
Okay.
If your cooling system is all good, aluminium head is much better.
Yeah.
And also increases on horsepower because there's room for even bigger valves.
Oh.
There's room for manipulation.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And maybe if you look at the fuel line of this vehicle, it's relatively very simple.
Yeah.
But
apparently there's no electronics that run the engine per se.
So it's just purely mechanical.
You can start this car up, remove the battery, give it to somebody else. So long as you don't switch off the car, you can go even up to Kisumu. But you'll not have lights, you'll not have anything. Anything that requires electronics, you'll not have.
The good thing is that it will get you out of the bush.
Yes.
What was that for?
This is an add-on. This is for auxiliaries, lights, music system. You can do anything with this. This is a 8-gang power supply.
Oh, nice.
That you can govern from. There's a monitor inside. So you can. It comes with very many stickers. So it depends on what you want to power. Okay. Whether it's a fridge, a compressor, spotlights, music system, interior lights, whatever you want to do with it, you just label it and wire it to that particular place.
Because I look at it and seems you want to do some accessorizing on it.
Yes, for driving at night, you can see the fog lights.
Yes.
There's a bar that will not only be used in the bush.
Yes. NTSA would not be very happy
No.
if you're using that on the road.
No.
Yeah.
But in view of where the car is going to be
Yeah.
and what's going to be doing,
Yes.
then it's prudent that it puts in good lights.
It comes in very handy.
Yeah.
Then let's talk briefly about the suspension. Now that we have touched about the engine, you have a solid front axle, front
Yes.
diff and rear diff.
Yes.
Did it come with factory lockers?
No. These we altered.
Okay.
What we did was we cut the front tube and put the shackles for Pajero.
Oh, okay.
That comes with the discs, because the braking power on these vehicles is not that good. Because of it has drums at the back and the front.
In the front.
Now to enhance on braking, I thought it prudent that we modify and put discs at the front.
So you actually, yeah, they are discs at the front.
Yep.
This is the first one I've seen with the first original one.
And then also for efficiency, the hub locks actually help. Because in most cases when on the highway you're on two-wheel drive.
Yes.
So if the propeller is still rotating and you're not engaged four-wheel drive, you still have a strain on the vehicle.
Yeah.
Where efficiency is slightly compromised.
Yeah.
Unlike when you have diff locks that you can engage and disengage.
And when it comes to like splitting the tubes, how do you get, because so many people get welding wrong.
This was done in the engineering works.
Yes.
They mount it into a lathe, and they also try and balance it out with the spirit levels and whatever they use.
You know, these days you find guys who are building. You know, actually, PJ, there's something I would like you to address as an experienced mechanic, because out here I used to have a Mazda 323. We wanted to do an engine swap.
That was a beautiful car.
It was a nice car. I loved it.
Faster than a Toyota.
So I went to some guy who told me, you know what, instead of just changing the whole front suspension to fit in the 4A, the 4E GTE, you just, what we do, we have to we cut the shafts, then weld them. And so there's a guy who was there who had done that before, but the vehicle had terrible vibrations. And I think
it was not done in a lathe.
Yes.
And then for you to join it, I've done quite a number. It's got to be, the ends have got to be sharp, where in the lathe they make it more like the tip of a spear. Then you build on your weld.
Yeah.
And each time you're making sure that the rotation, there's no wobble on the shaft as you're building up the weld.
Yeah.
That way you're safe. And before that, in between, you drill a hole on either end of the shaft and put a metal rod. So that acts as a reinforcement, so because of twitching.
Okay.
So either your guy got it wrong and just did it.
So even I prefer to just keep the carburetor up to until when I sold the car. Because doing a 4E's are more, they're reliable, they're efficient,
I'll always go for A.
Yeah?
I'll always go for A.
You prefer the A over the E. Reason?
Reason, oil pump failure on the E. And then if the pump fails and you have scotch marks on the block, the engine is gone. You just throw it away.
So for A is better.
For A, you have replacement.
Yeah.
So you can buy a brand new, genuine oil pump, put it in, and build up your engine.
Yeah. But 4A has become really, really expensive. I think the demand is too high. Also, the supply is quite low.
Yeah.
Not many people are bringing them in from Dubai. Now, another question I would maybe like to ask: the braking system. Once you did the disc upgrade to the front, I am sure even the booster you had to modify that, or does it still run on the original one?
No, this we got as a replacement.
Okay.
They came with the car. as a
Yes.
replacement. So the booster on this is normally a bit thicker
Yes.
and smaller. You can see this is bigger.
Okay.
So this is for, I think, a Toyota Hilux,
Oh, nice.
which will still work.
Yeah. Maybe a question to guys who want to go into building like these rare cars. By the way, guys, the reason why you have these wasted wages is because the owner thought that it would have been a better choice to buy a cow. Because it's projects are very expensive, and sometimes if you, especially if you live with someone in your house, sometimes you have to keep the costs classified. So is this would you call this an expensive project?
Look at it this way. I would not rate it as expensive. I would rate it as satisfying.
Yes.
Here you are. This is a pickup. How much is a pickup now?
Single cab, the Land Cruiser or the Hilux?
Downgrade it.
Let's do Hilux.
Yes.
So if we're doing Hilux, we'll be talking about 4 point something, almost 5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here you bought a car from the village, probably for, let's overrate it, 500,000.
Yes.
Then you feel generous, and give it. I'm willing to spend 3 million. This is all hypothetical. It's
Yes.
not in regards to the vehicle.
Yes.
How much in total have you used?
It's like 3.5.
And you've done it to your satisfaction. You've built it. Literally, you've built it. Because there are things that you choose that are not in any other ordinary car.
Yes.
So for satisfaction, you're better off. You still have the use of a pickup that you're after for less the money.
Okay. The other thing, we have a generation of car enthusiasts. We have now your generation and our generation, and the generation that is slightly after us. Now there's a problem with the generation that is slightly after us, because people want to buy a car, build it, and have it hit the road the next morning. But I was talking to Jamlik about this car, and he was telling me that it needs a lot of time, a lot of patience, and also from our conversation before, you told me that these are things that need time, and they need. You see, it's not just it's not work. It's more of being passionate about it.
Yep.
Because from the stories I've heard, this is a car that can frustrate you very easily, especially because of how
Parts.
rare the parts are.
Yes.
So what would be your message, maybe to the new mechanics on the block, the guys who want to take that shortcut, the people who don't value the originality of a vehicle?
As the saying goes, patience is a virtue.
Yes.
And in essence, that's the key. Because if the parts are hard to come by, there's somebody who has it somewhere. It's just a question of networking and finding out, I'm looking for this part. Can I get it? Yes. And you'll be good.
Okay.
But quick money, you never get it to these jobs. You can't rush. You can't rush these jobs.
Okay.
The outcome will not be what the client wants.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, talking about clients, would you, if I wanted to build my, say, FJ, or even say an 80 series, if I want to modify my car, are you open to taking up clients? Because most guys will tell you, they look at you, they look at how you're explaining how you've built this car from scratch, and they'll say, hey, huyu anakaa kusema hapana tusilete. For you, do you take up new projects that guys are doing?
Yes. Though I've built myself more or less not to be too greedy.
Yes.
Greedy in the sense of Peter has come, John has come, Matthew has come. They all want their cars done. How are you going to do it? There's no way you're going to do it. So you plan. I can take your car this period, this particular time to this particular time. You want this kind of modification? Yeah, it will take me 10 days. Program yourself. You don't take too much, because with too much, there are too many mistakes that will happen. Yeah.
So for professionality, and I think for having a seamless build, you prefer one by one.
One by one.
So somebody would actually have to book you to build their car.
Yes,
Do you build Land Rovers?
I do.
No. Let me ask you a question that most enthusiasts avoid: Land Rover or Land Cruiser?
Land Rover is like, unfortunately, it's like Ford. What's the meaning of Ford?
Forget or repair daily.
Land Rover, go for a trip. In between, you'll have to go under to adjust something. Has a lot of clunking. They messed up with the transfer box. Any 4x4 should be a vehicle that you engage the 4x4.
Yes.
Not full time. It's prone to too many weaknesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
with the Land Rover, you've got to have a toolbox at the back.
Okay. So that's why you prefer Land Cruiser all the time.
No, there's something the Japanese did that the Europeans did not get. Yeah.
And that is
reliability.
The reliability aspect. Yeah. And Land Cruiser, every time you say Land Cruiser, everyone knows that it's reliability. And talking about Land Cruiser and being reliable, PJ has actually done something very interesting. He has given a Pajero V56.
V26.
Yours a V26. Yeah, he has given a Pajero V26 the heart of a Land Cruiser.
A heart of a Lexus.
Actually, it's a Lexus. One UZ was actually a very good engine.
Over-engineered.
So that's why you prefer. If it's petrol, you still.
I'm a petrol head.
You do petrol any day.
Any day.
Can we take a look? Maybe we can just walk to that Pajero over there. And maybe before we get there, are you more of an off-roader or are you an on-roader, or are you a mix of both?
In view of terrain and where I stay,
yes,
I have a mix of both.
What was the inspiration to put in this engine right here?
I wanted power. So I'd put in a Nissan SRDET.
SR20?
Yes, DET.
Okay.
Because the diesel engine is pathetic.
This was 4M40?
This was 4M40.
Originally.
But I did not like the performance on the diesel. So I opted for petrol, being more or less a petrol head. So I tried it out with the SR20 DET. The takeoff was beautiful, but I blew 4 turbos.
Whoa!
So I then opted for 1JZ. 1JZ, I didn't like the power. Put in a 2JZ, still didn't enjoy the power. That's when I opted for the 1UZ.
You decided to go V8.
V8.
And you're running. Actually, it's quite rare to get a 1UZ with a manual transmission.
No, I modified. I married the gearbox of a manual Pajero to the 1UZ.
Did you touch the diff?
No. My drive ratios, all good. You go to calculate even the drive ratios. They're all good.
Yeah, because especially those petrol diesel swaps, you have to get the ratios very correct. Yeah. And the other thing maybe I would ask about you having or running a 1UZ here is what did you change apart from getting the ECU?
I'm running stock. The ECU is stock.
So it's purely.
Yeah. I have a standalone, but I'm very apprehensive of putting in the standalone.
So why are you apprehensive?
I don't know. There's just something. I'm just apprehensive. taking it for the dyno and all that. I'm not really keen on that. So just run it to the standard
So here
ECU.
you got power and you got reliability.
Yes.
So any day, assuming I want to buy a Land Cruiser 100 series,
Yep.
then the question will be, or my question would be, go petrol or go diesel, because that's one big question with most, most guys who are buying 100 series.
Mm-hmm.
Would you prefer the petrol one, or would you go diesel?
Okay, I've driven both. People tend to say the petrol is a bit lazy. You got more power on the diesel. Yeah. But when you look at it, the end, we tend to look at how much you're spending then, not the end result. The cost of running that diesel will be higher than the petrol.
Okay.
Look at the service, look at the spare parts and all that. Even if you have to replace the engine, you're looking at upwards of close to $1 million now.
Yes.
While with the petrol, you'll be looking at less than 300 going to 4. There's already a discrepancy there in terms of price.
So even with the cost, the initial investment.
Because you're only saving what? Probably 3 liters, 3 to 2 liters difference in terms of consumption. So
you prefer to go
I'll go petrol anytime.
To go petrol, that is.
Anytime.
So this is the true description of a petrol head. And maybe before we leave the Pajero, how heavy is the V8? Or what did you have to do to the 4M40? Yeah.
This is, if I'm not good, it's about 180 something kilos.
Yes.
So the difference is
negligible.
No, hardly any. Because this is all aluminium.
The 4056 was aluminium head, cast iron.
Yes.
Okay. So I think, and what would you tell anyone who wants to do this kind of engine swap on a Pajero? Because there are so many guys who want to do Pajero swaps. And what do you think about Pajero V6 engines?
Ironically, thirstier than this. I can get 8 out of this.
Yes.
On the highway. Pajero averagely will give you 6, 7.
And
5.
you have 2 extra cylinders for that.
Correct.
Okay, interesting.
All you guys got to be clean. Be keen that your guts are very clean. Air cleaner has got to be tip top at any one time.
Okay.
Because once you compromise on that, you compromise on the airflow sensor, hence more fuel.
Oh, okay. This is quite insightful, by the way, because we are all into, I want to build this car, but no one ever talks about these small things, like even weight, braking. You had to do a brake upgrade on this one.
Yes, I put bigger discs.
So now
Same calipers, but bigger disc.
This is something that most people are doing wrong. You put in a more powerful engine, but you forget you have to stop.
Yes. Then for stability, there's also a steering damper.
Yes.
That was never there. Because Pajeros have a tendency of wobbling a bit on an uneven road.
Yes.
So with a damper, it sorts out that.
Ah, awesome. Nice car, man. This, as I told you guys, this calls for passion. This is not only work. This is passion. And true mechanics, they think outside the box. In fact, they get rid of the box. You have to think about, how the engineer thought about this car when they were producing it. And I think that is where, these days, modern cars are mostly designed by marketers and accountants.
Look at vehicles designed in the 70s and 60s.
Yes.
It's the way people tend to say you mold a mama.
Yeah.
They were actually molded. Well thought out, done in clay, redesigned, done in clay, until they got the perfect thing. Now you look at a vehicle built in the 70s, a sports car, and park it next to a modern BMW or whatever. Which one looks better?
The 70s will always take.
Yeah. Because now we tend to mimic. This guy has designed this car like this. Look at an Outlander, the new Outlander now,
Yes.
and the new Range Rover. There's a similarity.
Even the J250 and the new Defender,
Yeah.
they have a striking similarity at the back.
So it's copy, paste. But then let's change the name.
But there's something that Toyota has done that is quite interesting. Maybe if you allow me, I would like to pick your mind on that. So they have decided they are going retro on the Land Cruiser Prado. So they got it inspired. They got the inspiration from I think a BJ40, the boxy shape, and even the Toyota badge. Everything, they try to go back to the past. And according to them, they feel that the love for the Land Cruiser was at least it was an all-time high up to when the 80 series ended production.
Yep.
And now after that, they figured out that even today the demand for 80 series is
High.
crazy.
Yep.
So they wanted something that would go closer to an 80 series. They tried to keep it simple.
As a child, if you were asked to draw a car, what would you draw?
A boxy car.
And that's what sticks in the head. Yeah. And meets internationally, meets everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you know of a car. Yeah.
So I think we are living in very interesting times.
What of your fashion? Belly bottom, sitarudi too.
Yeah, by the way.
Afro.
By the way, afros in a Rudi. Even the youngest member of our team has an afro. I don't know if he knows where the origin of the afro was. But
70s.
So it has been a pleasure hanging out with you. So what do you think? Do you think it's ready for the challenge for Elgon?
It will be ready.
Yes. Nice. You should maybe try join us one of these fine days. I'm hoping I'll take my trooper. Maybe I can also bring in my trooper. You check it out after we are done, because man, this was a challenge, man. This is a challenge. You know that feeling of you are not doing anything. So there are people who are actually doing. That is very meticulous. That is a lot of passion in that vehicle, and from the looks of it, I can comfortably say it's 100%. But ukishaweka hizo interior panels, but to you it's still incomplete.
Yeah, we've not covered the brakes. We have installed the brakes, but we've not laid them out. There are a number of things we have not done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be road ready in a month?
Hopefully next week.
Oh, nice. That's a lot of passion. So how do guys get you? Do we share your number in case somebody wants to get up or to do a project?
Yeah. Number is 0722 96 87 58.
Okay. So there you have it. You can also get PJ's number in the description. Pigie simu, especially guys who want to do projects. That question tumeulizwa mara mingi sana. Do you have somebody who we can take our Land Cruisers to for a build? I have a guy who is building and I think his is an FJ, it's not a HJ. So maybe I'll link the two of you up. So if you want to call PJ, we'll also put his number in the description so that you can give him a call. And I hope this has been an insightful episode. What else do you want to say in terms of project builds? Tuambieni alafu. Remember, we also offer services such as pre-purchase inspection, consultation, and kama unataka kufanyiwa sourcing kidogo, and also we advise on some projects that you should take. And at least now uko na an extra person to consult, and that is PJ. He has very interesting views about Land Rovers. And so I think we have an answer. So the answer should be Land Cruiser, right? So it's over and out for today's episode. Tupatane next week with another alluring episode.